of $1 million over a 20-year period, now you have the ability to pull out just north of $87,000 a year for the next 20 years. So at the end of 20 years, Family A, if you recall, was able to pull out $1.2 million. Well, Family B now had the ability to pull $1.7 million. So an additional $500,000 of distribution, utilizing just an economic straddle different than Family A. Now, after they paid their taxes, they had a net income of $1.5 million, this is Family B, compared to a net income of $864,000 that Family A had. In other words, the same $1 million generated an additional 77% more income in 20 years to Family B than it did to Family A. Now, obviously, these are things that can be done. The big question is, well, you know, at the end of 20 years, Family A still has $10 million, but Family B already went through their $1 million. Well, a couple of answers to that. Number one, Family B was able to pull out $1.5 million, and they really didn't need to use all of that money, so many of those dollars went to savings anyways. Perhaps not the 77%, but another 30-40%, even 50% may have gone to savings. The other thing is that if Family B would have taken that $1 million at the time and would have gone to an insurance company and bought an immediate annuity, which is guaranteed for life for as long as they live, then they would have created a guaranteed pension like many of us may get if we work for the federal government or the state government or a city or municipality, or if you work for a major Fortune 500 company that offers some kind of a guaranteed pension. So you have a lot more income there. Now, also, whole life insurance generates a lot of cash value along the way. So by the time these clients are in their 80s, based on calculations that we have run many a times, just on cash values alone inside your guaranteed life insurance contract, you may actually have north of $1 million there as well, not including the death benefit which sits on top of that. Now, think of it this way. In this exercise, the Family A had a net income of $43,200 a year for 20 years, where Family B in the first year had a net income of $70,000. So I would also argue from an economics perspective that Family A probably still had life insurance. I would say not only probably, but I guaranteed that they have life insurance. But they were self-insuring that risk. See, when you purchase insurance, you can transfer that risk to an insurance company for a premium, or you absorb that risk and you keep it onto yourself. So the fact that Family A was netting almost $30,000 less in income annually due to the fact that they had no leveraging straddle whatsoever working for them would make us believe in many different ways that maybe that was a cost of self-insuring their liability. So the cost is not going to go away. The cost of insurance and retirement straddles are not going to go away in retirement. The question is, who's going to pay for it? Are you going to transfer the risk and pay a premium to an insurance company so they can carry that risk on your behalf? Or are you going to self-insure, like in this example, and it's going to cost you anywhere between $27,000 and $30,000 of less income per year because of that decision that you made 15, 20 years ago or 30 years ago when you purchased your life insurance contract. Remember, For us and for all the planning that we have ever done, a family that has a guaranteed life insurance contract provides a tremendous amount of leverage to families that don't. Because Family B had the ability to take that money and buy an immediate annuity. They had the ability to take a portion of that money and buy an immediate annuity to pay for their fixed expenses and reinvest the rest of it. They had the ability to just use a pay down calculation, and they could have been as conservative as they wanted to. Instead of running a pay down calculation for 20 years, they could have done it for 25, for 30 years. They still would have been ahead of the curve. And if, by the way, if interest rates were to go down, Family B had a tremendous more amount of leverage than Family A would have ever had. Hopefully you have been able to understand and see the importance of retirement straddles, using a lot of economic tools and products that are feasible to make ends meet in retirement. One final thought is the area and impact of long-term care in retirement. It is one of the major issues that we deal with as we prepare to do planning for our clients. Now, interesting enough, many insurance companies are now promoting and bringing to the forefront and to the market life insurance products that also have long-term care riders. See, for many years, if a client wanted a long-term care policy, they would have to go in the market and try to purchase one. Now, most of those policies had no guarantees as far as the premiums were concerned. The company had the right to increase those premiums as time went on, and they would do so depending on the losses that they were obtaining at that point in time. Now, when I have a discussion with clients regarding probabilities of an LTC or a long-term care event, I tell them that is the lottery ticket you don't want to win, because the probability of long-term care is either 0 or 100%. For instance, in the state of Florida today, the cost of providing long-term care services, if you happen to be in a nursing home, is $205 per day or $6,235 per month, and that's for a semi-private room. If you want a private room all to yourself or to a family member, then it's going to cost you approximately $229 per day or $6,965 per month for as long as your family member happens to be in a nursing facility. Now, the average stay in a nursing facility is anywhere between 2 and 4 years. So if you have to come up with additional funding, not only to maintain your standard of living, but also to be able to provide for someone that you love and care for very much, that puts a tremendous amount of pressure on your existing assets. If something like this would have happened to Family A, where their only choice was living off the interest only, they would have had no choice but to start depleting their principal. And by doing so, when the first spouse passes away, what is left for the surviving spouse? Will that surviving spouse have enough? So a lot of the products that are available in the marketplace and the companies that we deal with provide these guaranteed benefits, where these life insurance contracts can fulfill multiple needs. Not only the traditional family protection need, where if I were to die, my family is protected, but also providing asset protection, as it did for Family B in the exercise that we covered a little while ago. But also, most important, last but definitely not least, is the issue of long-term care. And through the critical illness riders, the contract allows the policy owner to take monthly withdrawals from their death benefit on a tax-preferred basis in order to compensate and or pay for long-term care needs. So as you can see, the issue of retirement planning, the psychology of retiring, is one that everyone should pay attention to, and the sooner you start paying attention to that, the better. You know, I always tell my clients that if you want to be healthy by the time you're 65, when do you start eating well and exercising? Do you do it at 64, or do you do it at 60, or at 50, or at 45? At the end of the day, you want to do it as soon as possible. Again, our goals at Cambridge, and my personal goals when I deal with my clients, is to assist all of my clients in changing the way they see things. Because when they change the way they see things, the things they see change. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more podcasts from the Cambridge Financial Literacy Podcast channel.